Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Wernberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Today I'm going to be talking about why does it feel so bad when someone calls me a name. So I'm assuming you have been called a name or been made fun of or something like this at some point in your life. Even if it was just for 1 second. And so today I'm going to be talking about why does that feel so bad? Why do I have to give so much of my personal power away to someone saying something about me and it makes me feel bad? So the very short answer to this, which I will expand upon through the rest of this video, is this idea that something is wrong with you if someone calls you a name. That something is inherently fucked up and you are fundamentally flawed as a person if someone calls you a name. That's the root of all of this. And that is 100% not true. I'm here to let you know. But I just want to let you know that that's why you have such a visceral, no I'm not, or how dare you, or don't call me a name reaction to it. Because if you know in your heart that nothing's wrong with you, then you can just, let that wash right over you and go whatever. So is that really true? That's the only reason why it feels bad? So for example, so it feels bad, or it feels like people have this other expectation of us, but we're not that, whatever. And so an example of this would be like if you were called a nerd growing up. Me, I was called a lot of things. One of them was nerd. And so then when I got older and I was trying to unlearn the pain from that, I thought about, okay, what makes me a nerd? Is it because I like to study? I like to read. I like to learn about things. I like to have more knowledge. I do carry a book with me pretty much all the time. I am nerdy, if that's what you mean. Okay. I got called a name, got made fun of for being too nice before, which again, nice is something a lot of people strive to be or would attribute as a positive characteristic, so why was that so painful for me? Okay, it was because it was being translated in my subconscious as something being wrong with me, that someone had to go out of their way excuse me, to call me a name or to make fun of it, and you know the tone people use when they call you a name, right? So you can feel what type of energy they're attaching to the name that they're calling you. Very common one for a lot of women out there is bitch or slut. I've been called both, and again, if you just look at the behavior objectively that leads you up to that, you might be either of those things, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as your agency and consent is present, that's fine. But you just have to think about, okay, am I just being called this because people don't like me, because if I'm not doing anything harmful, then you're allowed to do whatever you want. And so again, a lot of this comes from an understood feeling that something's wrong with me because someone's calling me a name, and so that's what feels bad. And so this can go the other way too, possibly, if someone calls you a name or gives you too nice of a compliment, but it doesn't really fit in with you. So someone's like, oh my god, you're so smart, I can't believe you would ever, you're so smart, or something like this, something positive, but you feel like in your heart you're not that, then you may interpret that as something's wrong with you because you don't feel like you are that thing actually. And so for both of these examples, it's just basically a misbalance of your energy, where the story you're holding about yourself doesn't line up with what's externally going on. So of course my recommendation for this is affirmations and doing some reflective work. So what's going on within you that jeez, what's going on within you that do you really trust and believe and love yourself? That the people, obviously I don't condone calling names or anything like this, but the only reason someone calls you a name is because they're sick and something's wrong with them, not you. And so what's going on within me, that do I feel strong and secure within myself that someone's calling me a name? How much does that shift my reality? And you can get very clear about where your insecurities are still, and then once you have those, you can flip them into affirmations. So for example, for the nerdy one for me, okay, yeah, I'm a nerd, great, that one was pretty easy to fix. If I'm a bitch, okay, so I had to realize for me, bitch was hard for me to overcome because I interpreted that it was wrong, that I'm very clear about my opinions, I know what I want, I say what I want, I typically get what I want, and so people in this realm that is massaged with misogyny, that is bad if a woman is like that. And so I had to realize, okay, I am a bitch, but I love how I am. I am happy to be opinionated. I'm glad I am clear what I want. I know what I want, and that's good. And so getting clear about what's going on with you internally that shift of like, is this something that I feel insecure about? And so getting called a name and like having a strong emotional reaction to it actually can be pretty helpful in terms of building your relationship with yourself. And again, not condoning names, and I'm not dismissing any pain that comes from it, but just really sitting with it and getting clear about that. So let me know in the comments below how this has helped for you, helped to reframe your story and let go of some other people's shit that they put onto you. And if you ever want more information about me, you can always go to www.erin-elizabeth.com. And I will see you on my next vlog. Thank you. Bye. Love you.